Hello, today is May 2nd, 2020. We've been saying we think the high of this leg is in, and Friday's action does add confirmation to that. This is a pattern with the early low. Unless we drop early, typically it's a rally day. You get a high in the final hour. When you do drop early and you don't have a rally day, typically it leads to further declines. And we'll come back to that in just a minute. We got a sell signal from MEJT. It just means a lower price should print, and if we rally too soon, it'll be false. Usually the target's well defined and pretty far away. Doesn't mean there's a trade. But when it isn't well defined, all I require is that we undercut the low of this last one of the three red bars. And we did that, so even though we usually get more out of the system, out of the signal, we got the minimum that I require in the system. The signal's played out. Here's the long-term chart. You connect the lows of waves 2 and 4, draw a parallel line, get the highs of waves 1 and 3. If you draw a new parallel line, that's the dashed line, and connect it to this week's high, you get some more hits, pretty impressive hits too. So we have strong resistance at this week's high, and I think that's going to hold. Doesn't mean we have to drop Monday. Well, we're looking for about a 350 point drop. This distance is 350. We want 350 point drop from this green line. We're not there yet, but again, that doesn't say we have to drop every day. Just means this drop isn't over and that line should hold. You can ignore this bar here because we gapped over it. It's the market's way of saying this doesn't count. And you connect these highs to this low, you get the low of wave blue A. So you have a nice channel here, and you drop right to the low of the channel. And if you want to continue lower, ideally you should have a gap under Friday's low. And I have a question in my mind if that's going to happen. It's impossible to be certain of the count here, but it is possible to count a clear 5-wave drop. This doesn't look like it's a 5-wave structure, but if you go to the 1-minute chart, you can count it as an ending diagonal triangle. It's not the clearest count I've seen, but it doesn't break any rules. And if so, we've completed 5 waves down right at the low of that channel I've discussed. We also had a break to a new low right at the close that was recovered. Big money had all day long to break the new lows, refused to do it, and then once they left the table, we had a break that was recovered. I think it's the hands of the amateurs, and the amateurs aren't always wrong, but if they are wrong, they tend to be wrong in spades. So we have the possibility of gapping up smartly on Monday. And if they're not wrong, I think we'll gap under these lows. I don't play overnight, so I don't have to guess. Monday's pattern has the early high. We could gap down first. Friday's low, the high pattern typically is positive. Big drop early, failure to close in the highs, all negative stuff. More selling comes, but if we gap and overtake Friday's high, that kills the pattern. Other side of the coin, we gap down, hit a lower low, closed over them. That's positive. We have a wave count, we have the trend line support. All these are positive things, and the pattern would be killed if we gapped and promptly undercut Friday's low. We'll apply the rules for mixed signals, and they're right here. Most common, gap and prompt move outside the range. If it doesn't happen, we'll probably close a little change, have the big move on Tuesday. Looking for the pattern with the early high. Most likely is a gap outside the range, or gap in a prompt move outside the range. We have much lower targets coming. I think this high is going to hold, but that doesn't preclude trading up Monday. And if we gap up, it's credible. If we gap down, the decline continues. Looking for one or the other. That's today's call.